Let's talk energy. OPEC and Russia wrapping up another meeting, this one virtually, and even as oil prices remain in the high 80s, they are deciding to keep their production cuts going full steam. Brian Sullivan joins us right now with more. And Brian, I can't say that I'm shocked by this. I guess it would have been a pleasant surprise had they actually decided to pump more, but they like what they've seen with prices lately.
That would have been the news, and again, this was a virtual meeting. This is not the in-person meeting where they tend to make the bigger changes. So why are we covering it? Well, because this kind of sets the plate for what happens on November 26th at the next meeting. As you noted, Becky, oil prices at $87. Put that in comparison. 4 years ago, in October of 2019, because you always want to use sort of pre-COVID levels, oil was at 61, meaning we are 42% higher now than 4 years ago, back a little bit out for inflation, still much, much higher. Okay, so OPEC Plus in a virtual meeting. In fact, most of the members are actually in Dubai at a big oil and gas conference right now called OPEC, kind of a rubber stamp meeting. They're going to continue their quotas. What does that mean? Well, on paper, OPEC is cutting 2 million barrels per day, OPEC Plus, as a group. That's all the OPEC nations, plus Russia, Mexico, and others. I say on paper, and if you're listening on the radio, I'm doing air quotes with my hands, because we know that many countries aren't able to cut that much because they weren't actually at their production quota anyway. It's kind of hard to know exactly where they stand, but we'll call it 2 million on paper. Bigger than that is Saudi Arabia's single, solitary, and voluntary cut of 1 million barrels per day. Russia adding on another, again, unilateral cut by them of 300,000. So do the math. 2 million plus 1 million plus 300,000. That should equal 3.3 million barrels a day coming off the market, Becky, but in OPEC math, it's probably closer to 1.8 because some countries don't quite make it. Either way, they're keeping their foot on the cut gas pedal. There's a lot of geopolitics here. Don't lose sight of the fact that right now the U.S. government is working very hard behind the scenes to help negotiate the normalization of relationships between Saudi Arabia and Israel. If that occurs, it is a massive geopolitical story, very important for that part of the world, but Iran could not be happy with that kind of an agreement, so they may be back in play as well. With OPEC, as always, Becky, there's a lot of drama out there. Here's the drama. Gasoline in California, $5.97 per gallon, and you wonder why Americans are not convinced inflation is over. Talking a lot more about it tonight, by the way, utilities, gas, everything. On Last Call, we've got the CEO of major power company Exelon. We'll ask him about that. We'll also ask him about nuclear. They're a big nuclear producer. And Mark Fisher, well, that's just a Last Call promo, but we got Mark Fisher of MBF to talk oil and gas as well. So it's going to be a big day today, Becky. Oil and gas all day.
So the head of OPEC made comments, I think it was yesterday, that he doesn't think there's enough that's being spent in investments on trying to get more oil production. He says that demand is going to increase. We could be looking at, he thinks, $100 oil. How soon?
Harold Hamm at that conference that I was at a couple of weeks ago where I popped on your show as well, Becky, said that oil could go to 150. Now, it's an oil guy, so take it with a grain of salt. Here's the reality. Oil wells just don't maintain themselves. They take hundreds of billions of dollars a year all over the world to make them just operational so they don't explode, things like that. And if you're being told by one part of the world that fossil fuels are going to be phased out or we'll need them for a couple more years or whatever it is, there's a lot of people are going to take that to heart and say, well, we need to stop investing in oil and gas. And if you do that, you reduce supplies naturally. You don't need production cuts, Becky. Your dad was, I think, in the oil business or around it. The wells just go away. They go away. Things need to be taken care of.
Brian, thank you. We'll be watching Last Call tonight, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.